Color change gems are considered phenomenal gems within the trade, and this is a very special trait that can be seen with sapphires, spinel, and garnet. Color change is also one of the most famous traits of Alexandrite, which is a variety of chrysoberyl, and it was made famous throughout Russian history and is now considered one of the scarcest and most expensive gemstones on the market. It's important to note that color change is different than Pleochroism, which is another trait of certain gems that we often see with tanzanite and tourmaline, and it essentially means that they can display different colors depending on the direction that you view them. In order to be considered color change, a gem must have a complete change of body color in two different light sources, both fluorescent light and incandescent light. This very unique color change, which is caused by two different light sources, is caused by two different trace elements, either chromium, which we've talked about a lot as a very rare trace element, often seen in ruby and emerald, and alexandrite, as well as vanadium, which, as an example, is a trace element that gives African Zambian emeralds their green color. With alexandrite, for example, the gem appears a bright red, basically like a ruby under incandescent light. And then when you switch to fluorescent light, it has a very bright green emerald-like appearance. This is one of the reasons why alexandrite is so famous, because you kind of get the best of both worlds with these two very rare gems, ruby and emerald. You're kind of getting the look of both. And of course, in order to be that kind of top quality alexandrite, you're gonna want that extreme color change and bright color and saturation with both colors. In general, with all color change gems, you're gonna get that hue change. So you have, two very different colors when you're looking at them under the two different lights, but the tone and the saturation are generally gonna stay the same. Sapphires are probably the most common color change gem, and in fact, there are even synthetic color change sapphires. And with sapphires, you can see a little bit more of a subtle color change at times. Sometimes it's even just a more bluish, violetish color, and then it changes to that kind of reddish purple shade. While these are obviously very unique gems, they're definitely not that common, so their value is very much tied to that kind of very small market that is very interested in this specific phenomenon, or for those that are just looking for something very unique and special. Alexandrite is definitely the exception to this rule. As mentioned, it's considered one of the rarest and most expensive gems on the market, and regardless of its quality, tends to command very high price points. If you are interested in a color change gem, or this has kind of piqued your interest, when you're looking for these stones, you definitely want to see that kind of high quality color change between the fluorescent and the incandescent light. You want to see as strong and as obvious a color change as possible. And obviously, the more attractive each of those two colors are, for example, that ruby red and emerald green, the more valuable the stone is going to be, versus shades that are less attractive, something a little bit more brownish or something a little bit more grayish when it comes to the saturation and lighter tones. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more about other phenomenal gems or gems and jewelry in general, be sure to visit our main page at winstongemsandjewelry.com.